Hi and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be unboxing and reviewing these DOMS brushes. These are their set of Pelton brushes, and it's supposed to be the best petal brush as it says over here. So this is an artist range from them, and it has 4 brushes which are in this very interesting shape. It already looks like a petal to me. So these are meant for painting petals and different leaves basically, and anything which look, you can create these curvy patterns where it has a sharp edge or a sharp finish and a start, and then it has a very thick belly over here, these brushes. So not like your mop brush. Your mop brush is the belly is fat and then it goes into a tip. This has like a very sharp curve that happens over here, and it's pointed much longer. So I picked this up for INR 350. And I'll just talk to you about some features over here. It says it has unparalleled color holding capacity, finest point and taper edges, comfortable touchy belly handles. So let's unbox this, and I'm quite excited to see how the things would be inside. It's very good packaging, and it is made in India. In fact, I think the packaging is quite nice, so you can store this if you want to. It holds 4 brushes. The brushes look very interesting. I love the color. So let me pick one and show you what this looks like. So here is each brush. The handle is really nice, long. It's got like a wide belly here, and then it goes into a very steep thin handle. So this is their brand ambassadors, Pelton, DOMS, and it's made in India. And if I open it, you can see over here how each petal looks. So you can see the tip, it's really sharp, it's very tapering, and it has a wide belly. So this is size number 6. I'm going to unwrap all of them. Size 8, 10 and 12. So I'm going to test these out on different kinds of art mediums. I'm going to try it for watercolors, gouache as well as acrylics, and let's see in which one it works well. So I'm going to try this out with watercolors first. I'm going to go with the size 6. Always dip it in water. Got some green. And we'll try and create different kinds of lines. It's creating such thin, beautiful lines. I'm going to take a little darker green so it's visible on the screen. So if I don't put a lot of pressure, I get very thin, nice lines. So now I'm going to just make the brush. I'm going to start with the tip, make the brush sleep and wake up. So let me zoom in and show you when I do this. So I start from the tip. I have the belly at the bottom part. I'm going to make it sleep and wake up. Such beautiful petals. I think it's able to create very nice leaves. I'm going to try in all different angles now. And in this way, when I try from the top to bottom, you can see it creates a very beautiful leaf structure. So normally leaves are a little tricky. You create leaves with nice round brushes and also with mop brushes, but these are amazing. I think that's the only word I have for it. It's so easy, quick, simple to create. It's just one single stroke. You don't even have to think too much about it. So organic, lovely. I think a perfect one this is. So this was the size 6 that we tried. I'm now moving on to size 8. Let's pick some other color. I'm going to pick like a nice orange. I'll show you how I'm using my color. So I'm dipping the brush completely. And now let's try. So you get like a taller, longer leaf. You can also create some petals. You can create flowers with it. So what if I have to go over it? It's still fine. These are brilliant brushes. I'm so happy I got them. I'm now moving on to the size 10. We'll take a slightly different color this time. So I'm using each size, I'm having a different color. So what's the longest leaf we can create with it? You can create tall leaves in fact with these. You get sharp lines with every size. That was your size 10, and now I'm trying the size 12. This will be the last one with watercolors. After this, we'll move on to gouache for these same brushes, and we'll see how it reacts with gouache. I'm going to pick some brown now. Just mixing some dark and light brown. It's really good. So how can you use different sizes? So all of them give the same strokes. The size of your petal is obviously different, the leaf style, just the size basically that you can create differently. So now if you're going to be working on different sizes of paper, you will need different sizes of your brushes. This right now I'm using is an A5, for which my size 6 is perfect, and size 8 is also good. Size 10 and 12 are too big for this particular book, unless I'm going to create just probably one set, you know, like a zoomed in version that I'm going to be creating of any leaves or flowers that I do. But like I said, for this size, absolutely perfect would be size 6. Oops. Otherwise, as you increase the size of your page, your brush size will become bigger. So if I'm going to an A4, I will use predominantly the 8 and the 10. And if I'm going to A3, then definitely the size 12. So this is the one with watercolors. We are now going to get some gouache and try out the same thing and see how these brushes are with that. With watercolors, it's able to hold enough water, create very beautiful strokes, and it's so simple, it flows very easily. So it's a definite thumbs up for watercolors. Alright, so now we are going to test out these brushes with gouache. I've got permanent green middle over here by Winsor & Newton. So we're going to use a little bit of this gouache and try it for all the colors. So I'm using a hot pressed paper for this because I like this a lot for gouache. This is a 300 GSM hot pressed paper. You can do it on 180 GSM also, but I prefer 300, especially if I'm going to be like testing out new brushes. So let's try out the size 6. It's so beautiful with gouache, and I have to go single strokes. It's very difficult. Normally if I'm using some other brush, I'll have to like make the shape and then I'll fill them in. So like I'll have to make a shape like this and I'll probably have to fill them in. But in this I can just go about creating these without any worry. So in gouache, you don't really need a brush that has a lot of water holding capacity, because you're going to not have a very liquidy mix that you're creating. It's going to be a little thicker. So it's okay to use different brushes, but this one for creating these kind of petals, it's very nice. So quite happy with this. Let's try out all the sizes. I'm now moving on to size 8. I think it's very good. You just need to be a little slow when you're creating something with this. You can see how the size instantly changes. It increases. Now I'm moving on to size 10. I'm going to get much larger leaves. Currently I'm just creating leaves. You can create any pattern that you want with this. You can create your own style of pattern. Just move your brush around, play with it, experiment, and you'll be able to create so many amazing things. We'll now move on to the last size, which is our size 12, and after this we will try it out with acrylics. I love how the thin strokes come out without having to put any effort. So I'm just going to show it again of how I create these strokes. So I start with the thin edge and then I just make my brush sleeve. I can drag it out and then I can pull it out. So I did that, or I just create a stroke and I pull it out to get a smaller leaf. So just go straight, make your brush sleep and wake up. So this is how I like to teach my students as well. I just have like a fun way of looking at everything. So if I do it in this style, especially for size 12, I've noticed that it creates a very beautiful line in the center here. So it looks very natural, like a real leaf. So I'll just show you how the watercolor one also is. Oops. So this is how the watercolor one looks. You can see like very thin lines over here. In gouache, it is a little more distinct and more obviously there. So this is how it looks with gouache. I love the brushes with them as well. It works really nice. So we're now going to try out the last one, which is with acrylics. Alright, we're now going to try these brushes with acrylics. Normally, I don't like using the same set of brushes for my acrylics as well as my watercolors and gouache. I keep one for watercolors and gouache and one separate set for acrylics because your acrylics tend to damage your brushes really fast. So if you're going to be using these same brushes for acrylics, I would either recommend you to use 2 sizes for acrylics and 2 separately for watercolors, or if you don't have a choice and you're using the same set, then please wash your brushes immediately after use. Otherwise they'll get completely damaged and you will not be able to use them for a long time. So I've got over here a nice acrylic color by Liquitex, and we are going to test out these brushes. I'm starting off again with size 6. It's so smooth. I love how versatile these brushes are. Sometimes brushes will be good for one medium and maybe not for the other. But with this, I find it interesting that it's good with all mediums. When you're doing acrylic painting especially, you would like to have a variety of patterns that you can create. So with single strokes, I think it makes it even easier and more fun to create these. So I'm going to now try out the next size. This is the size 8. I'm using this on acrylic sheets and not on any other regular paper. So it gives me a very good idea of how this will work on for acrylics. I didn't want to try this out on any random paper. And this, now we are moving on next to size 10. So especially if you have like a huge canvas or a big size canvas that you're working in, like an A3 or A4, then your bigger sizes are going to be so perfect for that. Now trying out the last size, which is your size 12. So you notice how I use very less color and I'm still able to create quite good patterns with it. So the brush has very good color holding capacity, so that is nice, which is why it's able to create with watercolors, and it's also beneficial for acrylics. Now if you're going to be doing with acrylics, just remember that if you're going to be layering, then you do need thick amount of color. You'll probably have to work around and play around with that a little bit to understand how to use the same brush for different mediums. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you all the 3 mediums that we use. I'll put them side by side and you can see the brush quality and how each petal looks like in different mediums. So here is how they all look when they are side by side. This set over here is in watercolors, this is in gouache, and this is in acrylics. And you can see that the style of your petals are perfect in all of the mediums. and they come out really well. Each one has its own feel to it. Like you can feel the transparency of this, and you can see how some of them are dark, some of them are light, and it works really well for your watercolors. And for gouache, it works very well that this has stayed opaque the way it is, and these lines from the size 12 have come out so beautifully in gouache. And in acrylics, it's perfect. Like, it's very hard. I've been into acrylics for a little over 14-15 years, and I love how these have come out. So from my side, I think it's a definite big thumbs up for getting these brushes, and for the price that it comes in, I think it is very economical. DOMS normally, I think, comes up with very good art supplies, and this is the first time I'm trying their brush set, and I'm very happy with what they've created. I hope this video has been useful for you to make a decision of whether these brushes work for you, and to understand how petal brushes will work and how you can use these in your paintings in various styles. So thank you for joining me in this video. I will see you soon for the next one. Bye bye.